Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to episode 59 of Hello the
55.
podcast. How you going? Oh, sorry.
We're
with
back.
me. Yeah, sorry. We're back.
After a week off.
Yes. How you doing?
Doesn't feel like a week though. I'm pretty good, you know. It's been a busy week off for me. A lot of uni stuff. I submitted 2 assignments yesterday. I have another one due at the end of next week, and a group assignment due at the end of next month.
Oh wow.
So it's all piling up, you know. And then work on top of that, and then all the other stuff. It's just it's been a busy week, you know. So I can't wait to get all that uni stuff out of the way so I can chill for a little bit. But how about you? Because you've had, I think, a bit more of an exciting week than I have.
I wouldn't say exciting is the right word. I've just been in bed or like at home.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting to me, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, it's
bed
been
sounds
the
great
worst,
right
man.
now. So
yeah, I had my surgery on Monday. So it's
Yes.
been just over a week now. And it's been going well. I've just been like getting massive cabin fever. Like really
Yeah.
frustrated because I can't go
Yeah.
any stuff without Steven, really.
Yeah. Yep.
But slowly I think I'm getting there, so that's nice.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, you don't want to rush the recovery and then end up like injuring yourself anymore or like doing something else to it. And then like you're out again for even a bit longer, you know? Like I had a friend that he did like a microfracture, I think, of his rib or something like that.
Oh, really?
And kind of like palmed it off and was like, yeah, it's probably nothing. Like, you know, didn't go get scans and stuff. And like he was going to the gym and things like that. And every time he was like lifting, like it was obviously like making it a little bit worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And in the end, like he had to take off a fair bit of time. And so like all that time that he was like, you know, putting into the gym ended up kind of being for nothing because, you know, like he had all this time off. So it's like, you don't want to be in that position either. Because it's, you know, then you get even worse cabin fever, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So like as much as I really want to get to doing stuff, I'm like, I just gotta chill.
Just take it slow.
Yeah, take it slow. And maybe I can do it slowly, like do a stream, not commit to like a full 5-day schedule or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
just here and there.
Yeah. But it's nice to see that, because we played a couple of rounds of Fortnite and just some games yesterday. So it's nice to see that I can kind of do that a little bit. Yeah.
And it's not if you did want to play games, like you don't have to play, you know, like Call of Duties or anything like that, where you're like swinging your arm around a lot and whatnot. You can sort of play
just be like point and clicks
chill
or whatever.
games, you know? Yeah. Some Minecraft, something like that, you know, where you just like casually blocking away at things. Yeah.
Have you been watching or playing anything?
You know what? Watch Doctor Strange. Not going to say anything because I know you still haven't seen it yet because of your recovery. But because we have seen Doctor Strange, like it came out here for us on Wednesday or whatever it was, rather than like the normal Thursday or Friday. And so we went and saw it Wednesday at 9 p.m. And because of that, we didn't get the chance to watch the finale of Moon Knight, which is why we're not going to cover it in today's episode. But we just haven't, like, because we've been so busy with uni and like waking up super early for work and things like that. We just haven't found the time to sit down and watch the finale of Moon Knight. So I think we're going to try tonight or tomorrow, hopefully, because I don't have to wake up for work the next 2 days at least. So we'll hopefully be able to fit that in somewhere. But other than that, I haven't been watching too much, to be honest with you. Kind of just been taking it a bit chill, you know. Yeah, nothing too crazy. What about you though? Because I saw that you were maybe starting The Office? ?
I did. I watched The Office when I was in hospital. That was like the only thing I watched, and I'm enjoying it.
Good.
I have been watching The Office, Selling Sunset, the new season, and BoJack Horseman, and that's kind of the 3 shows that I've been like trying to keep myself busy with.
Yeah.
Because there's so many episodes to them.
Yes. Yeah.
But
they're good ones to like slog through because they've each got like a good couple of seasons. Each of the seasons is quite long, you know, like, so it's,
Yeah, but no, I've been enjoying it. Like, I've been trying to get into The Office. It still hasn't like I haven't been at the point where I need to keep going. I'm like, it's fun. But So I think I need a bit more time with it, but I am enjoying it. I see the appeal of it more.
I mean, I think maybe as well, you maybe to like put yourselves in like, I forget when it came out, but like, 2000.
It was a while, right?
2010, 2011 shoes, like, what was funny back then might not be so funny now, kind of thing. Like, but in that similar sense, we did install Apple TV to our Google TV thing or whatever it is. And I added Severance to the watch list.
Yes. Oh my god.
But like I said, we just got to try and find the time to like get to it. So probably sometime soon, honestly. But we have a bunch of other stuff to watch, like, But yeah, no. It like I said, I do want to watch it. I just got to find the time,
Yeah.
It's But yeah. Anyways, shall we jump into the news this week, Jens? Because we've had a week off and there's been a fair few topics that we have missed or whatever. Obviously, I think most of this stuff is just from this week too. Like, that's how busy it's been from this little week off. So do you want to start us off with this unfortunate kind of news?
Yes. So, most anticipated game, or one of the most anticipated games coming out.
It's probably one of my most anticipated games.
Stray.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Stray, the cyberpunk cat simulator, has been delayed to summer 2022. So the end of this year, I guess, for us.
Yeah. Sometime probably close to the end. Like, they might have said a holiday, so maybe like right at the start of November.
November,
like,
yeah.
Yeah. If I feel like if they say summer 2022, that would mean like right at the start of it, because if it was going to be around like the December or like Christmas period, they would have said holiday. It could just be, the terminology they've chosen. Like, sure, that means
strategic,
nothing, but like to me,
people,
that's what I'm thinking. Like.
Yeah, or they're just keeping it open, really.
Yeah, exactly. They're giving themselves more of a window, I guess.
Yeah, so publisher Annapurna Interactive said that Stray would be released in early 2022, but obviously COVID and whatnot. Or
almost mid 2022 now. Like,
holy
shit, we're almost mid 2022. Wow.
I know.
I just looked at the calendar and saw 5th.
That insane?
It didn't click until today. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, so we're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer for this game, but as we say with all delays, it's more than welcome, considering you just want a good game to come out, and whenever that is, it will be. So
I mean, it's funny you put like you named it like Cyberpunk Cat Simulator. We don't want a cyberpunk situation with this.
I feel like cyberpunk is the
it's the gold standard of what not to do with delaying or not delaying games, I should say. Like, which
is a shame, because I know that actually,
I can guarantee you now, like, I've never done a game development course at uni or anything like that, but I can guarantee you now, the cyberpunk fiasco has become a case study. I guarantee you.
Sure.
Like, without a doubt in my mind,
it is a reference point in time and in rushing games.
It's a piece of history now,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of sad because, like I said, this is probably one of my most anticipated like PS5 games. I remember when this was like showcased at the original PlayStation 5 event, like when they announced the console and stuff. And I was like, damn, I know nothing about it, but it seems cool and it seems fun, and I want to play it. But we've got to wait just a little bit longer now.
While I was doing the research, I looked up a trailer for it, which I think added like it was a gameplay trailer, which I don't know if I've actually seen properly. And it's very detailed. It looks insane, and like I just can't wait.
It intrigues me. Like, I know nothing about it. I don't really want to know too much about it until I start playing it.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's that intrigue that's what's dragging me into it. So I'm very excited for this. Hopefully we get a date sometime soon, or like a confirmed date, just something we can look forward to a little bit. But I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that are still excited for this, regardless of the delay. So
yes,
in some other kind of unfortunate news, Jens, I saw this morning, which kind of took me by surprise, because I was like, did they announce that it was going to be on the original like last gen consoles or not?
Don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it was announced to be on last gen, and now they've pivoted. But Yeah, very interesting. But this morning or whatever, Rocksteady Studios, the developers of the upcoming Gotham Knights game, have announced that Gotham Knights, the game that has been delayed twice now, I want to say maybe 3 times, and is coming out sometime later this year, is only now going to be available on PC, PS5, and the newer Xbox Series X and S consoles, as opposed to, if I'm not mistaken, when they initially announced it, it was also going to come to the original, Xbox One and PS4 families. So it seems like they've sort of gone back on their word a little bit, I guess, or scratched that out.
Yeah, either that or they never announced what platforms it was going to be on.
Like I said, I could be wrong. And they could have just been like coming soon to a console near you and like left it open to interpretation. But if it was announced like a good couple of years ago, I do feel like they would have announced it for
the last gen consoles.
Like it would make sense. But yeah, anyways, similar to the upcoming Suicide Squad game, or the upcoming Suicide Squad game, sorry, Gotham Knights is only going to be available on these consoles, not going to be on last gen, which is kind of interesting. So Warner Bros. Montreal explained in a press release that it's aiming to provide the best possible, in quotations, gameplay experience using the more powerful hardware available, which it makes sense. Their reasoning makes sense. Like we just sort of said before, we don't want a Cyberpunk fiasco, where it feels like they released a game that was developed for previous gen consoles onto the newest gen stuff, and it just does not work, does not look good, doesn't look polished. Like
when Cyberpunk was announced, it was when previous gen was like the main thing. Yeah. So that was interesting, and that kind of makes sense. But then it actually makes less sense than this, because I think previous gen, how long ago was that?
A good 10 years now, I reckon.
10 years. Yeah, so the transition makes sense. It's only like, as someone who has the current gen, I'm not affected as other people who may not be able to afford / get a hold of current gen. Like, yes, it's slowly getting easier to get current gen. It's still hard.
You still got to be very on the ball. Like
you have to actively be looking.
I think I've been in EB Games stores overhearing them talk to like people that are like, how do I get my hands on a PlayStation 5? Really? Like it's a bit easier these days to get their hands on one of the new Xbox Series consoles. Like it's a little bit easier. You don't have to wait as long, I don't think. But the PlayStation is still a bit of a struggle to get. And I swear I've overheard an EB Games employee even say to customers, follow like this account on Twitter and Facebook or whatever, and it's like PlayStation 5 notifications, Soccer Notifications Australia or something like that. Because they have these alerts on that ping people as soon as like PlayStation 5s go in stock or are about to go in stock at a certain place, so people can like open their browser, get ready, start typing in all their details and what like that. And get prepped for it. And like even EB Games is kind of like, look, they kind of just appear when they appear. We don't even really have an idea. Like,
So to me, in that sense, it's like, that's unfair for people who forcibly can't get a hold of the next gen consoles. I mean, hopefully they have a PC good enough to play it, but most people don't have a PC and a console.
No. I mean, even that, like even on the PC front, like components are slightly more expensive than what they normally should be at the moment too. So like, it's not just consoles that are struggling; it's also PC players.
Yeah, that's
struggling to get little upgrades and whatnot. So it's kind of an across the board hit. But just going back a little bit, gents, the Xbox One and PS4 were released in 2013, so just under 10 years ago now. So I mean, I'm sure there are still people out there that are still rocking an Xbox One or an original PlayStation 4 and not even like the PlayStation 4 Pro or like, the newer Xbox One. Like I think my brother is still running an OG Xbox One and like he's happy with that. He's playing fine. He doesn't really care, He can still play some of the newer games, which to him is great. He doesn't really mind, He doesn't have to have, the next best thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Because I do feel like I remember them saying that it was going to release on the original ones. But yeah, kind of sad for those that were excited to play it and now find themselves in a position where they kind of can't, you know, like you said. So
interesting.
Sucks a little bit.
Interesting to see this transition between like game developers. I don't know how different it is to develop between a PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, but
yeah,
like if it is a bigger difference, it's interesting to see.
Well, it might not be the difference in development. It might just be that like if you were developing for across the board, let's just say PlayStation for simplicity. If you were developing across the board for PlayStation and you wanted to release your game on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5, you obviously couldn't make the game at the spec that the PlayStation 5 could run it at, because the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3 would struggle. Like they would almost implode. So you would have to like sort of, you know, rein your horses back a little bit, develop it at a middle ground kind of between like PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 type level stuff, and then release that same sort of stuff on PlayStation 5 with like maybe some like higher fidelity anti-aliasing or something like that turned on, you know? But you wouldn't be able to rebuild it from the ground up because that would take too long.
Yeah, too much time, too much money.
So I think also what they mean here is that they were developing this game and they have now realized that the game they've developed is probably not going to run as nice on those Xbox One consoles and those like PlayStation 4 family consoles, which was probably similar to what the Cyberpunk did. Was like they were developing it, yes, initially for like current gen consoles, and then next gen was announced, and like, oh shit, maybe we can turn this up a notch. They turned it up a notch, and then when they did release it on the original gen consoles, they were like, damn, we maybe turned it up to 11 a bit too much. Like, because some of those textures and graphics were like shit.
Yeah, I heard.
So it was probably something like that. You know, they just maybe overshot a little bit and were like, look, save us the PR of like releasing something similar to that and like, you know, having Havoc, and we'll just cut out 2 of the lanes of revenue we could get.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, still very excited for the game nonetheless. You know, like you said, Jens, we kind of are in a point of privilege where we both own, you know, capable enough PCs and PlayStation 5s if we wanted to play the game. So, you know, I guess we're some of the lucky few that can play this game when it comes out, and I'm still very excited for it. Regardless, I'll be picking this one up for sure.
I'm very excited to talk about this.
Yes.
So, scientists have added mouth haptics to VR. Which I think it's a very...
You knew it was coming at some point. You knew it was coming, right?
I didn't though.
Like, sure, like with all the other stuff they've got, like when VR started, they were like, okay, cool, it's a headset. You put it on, right? And then they brought out you know, like Valve came out with those controllers that like detected each individual finger movement, you know?
Yeah.
Which was the next step. And then they started developing those like little treadmill looking things where like you put yourself onto like a belt harness and you start running on the spot. So it's like,
I really want
and then
one of those.
all of a sudden we started getting those like haptic vests that you could wear that like if you got punched or shot like in a game, it would vibrate or like pulsate in that spot roughly where you would. So like it's the next iteration is like, you know, sort of haptics or like sensory things for more of like your facial
4D
thing, you know, like we're getting to that 4D realm. I don't think at some point we're gonna start seeing like little water canisters built into headsets.
I mean,
that,
you
like,
never
spritz
know
you
after
and
this.
like fans and you know, like it's the next best thing. I think the last thing they have yet to master is smell and taste. They're the last 2 senses. Like we've got almost every other sense across the board.
What if we got smell-o-vision?
But smell and taste. That's what I mean. Like it's got to be around the corner, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, but then okay. So now that I just think of the dirty shit that people will do with it now because yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, look. As with most things in technology, porn has paved the way for many an innovation in technology. You know, without porn, we wouldn't have Blu-ray. Without porn, we probably wouldn't have VR. Like, there's so many things. Yeah, 100%. Porn, I think, if someone could probably correct me, but if I'm not mistaken, porn was one of the catalysts for the Blu-ray revolution because Blu-ray can like hold more data and stuff like that. And you know, as these movies were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, they like needed bigger discs to hold. Like, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And probably same with VR. Like, everyone's always looking for a new way to interact with whatever they want to interact with, be it games or porn or movie. Like, if you just want to sit on your couch and watch, like, on a giant 309-inch,
I mean,
VR
there were
screen,
those
like,
TVs with VR goggles. Sorry, 3D goggles.
The 3D goggles, yeah. So, like, without a doubt, porn has paved the way for some of the innovation in VR. Without a doubt in my mind.
Well, this is another step added to the porn industry, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
So...
And they're going to run with this. They
absolutely will. Yeah. Considering the
the possibilities are endless with this.
It's insane. Okay, so a group of scientists from Carnegie Mellon University's Future Interfaces group have fitted an Oculus Quest 2 with ultrasonic transducers. And so basically it's like you've got the headset and it just like lies right underneath the headset, like hovering over your mouth.
I did see an image of this, I think, on Twitter. I'll whack it up behind to see if I can find it again, because it is kind of cool how they've where they've placed it.
It's very interesting.
It's not like it's not big or bulky either. It's quite like a little, like, neatly tucked in little sort of module that sits sort of just above your nose bridge or something like that. I think, if I remember.
Much. So yeah, these ultrasonic transducers generate ultrasonic energy, and so I don't know how, but it basically points towards your mouth, and it can basically direct the energy onto your mouth and create sensations that can be pulsing like movements, swiping motions across the lips vertically, horizontally, and like vibrations at different speeds and intensities. So like, let's not talk about the porn side because I know everyone's thinking about it, but in the...
Sorry I brought that up. Sorry.
It's okay. It's not the first thing I thought of. In the video, it was like this person going through like cobwebs, and you could, you know how like you can feel cobwebs on your face, and you're like, so that like slight motion on your lip,
prickly sensation. Yeah.
So you're able to feel that on your lips, and there was one where she was brushing her teeth, and you can get sensations on your teeth as well as your tongue.
Yeah.
So like she was smoking a cigarette, so then you can like feel that slight vibration, and like just very interesting. And like when she was shooting the spiders, it would explode, and like random like splatters would go in your mouth.
Yeah. Yep.
So on like the gaming aspect, it could be really cool to add this level of sensation. It'll be very interesting.
I mean, like, that's it. Like you said, it's just 4D. Like, for anyone that's been to a 4D cinema ever, like, where there's chairs are rocking about, and like, there's little water canisters that like shoot at you when you go like, through water and stuff like that. And there's obviously the air puffs that like hit the bottom of your, like, there's all these things that they're gonna add in. And so they're just bringing it to a smaller scale to VR, But yeah, it's cool.
It's very cool technology.
Yeah. I'd be down for it. I'd be interested to see how consumer ready it is. Like, you think already like VR is quite a specific niche already in gaming. Like, not everyone has a VR headset. Most people have played games, but not a lot of people have played VR games before. Let alone own a VR headset. So, I wonder how many people are actually going to get this, like, because having said that, like, I said before, like all those haptic vests and things, I watch a lot of Twitch,
they're very expensive.
And I watch a couple of VR people from time to time, and like even those guys don't have some of those haptic vests and things like that. They just have the headset and like, a couple of controllers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you think if they're big in like that VR stuff, like, what's to say a normal Joe person walking down the street that owns an Oculus Quest is going to go out and spend another couple of $100 on something to blow some air on his lips, like...
Yeah.
So
it'd be nice if it was a whole, like, one thing dissolve.
If they bundled it, yeah.
I mean, hey, maybe in the future.
We know that Oculus is owned by Facebook and Meta now, so, like, they've got funding behind them. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if they're like, we'll buy out the idea. Like...
because they could easily integrate it into their headset at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, who knows though? Because the university owns it. Like, and I know, like a couple of things. Like if you develop things on university time and like properties and things like that, technically the university owns it. It's not like your idea.
It's like their patent. So right, it's not even the scientists' ideas.
Yeah, that's it. So like the scientist is kind of like, using university obviously things to develop it. So like the university owns it at the end. It could be different, I'm not too sure, but like I do feel like that's something that rings a bell in my head.
But everyone has a price.
Well, that's true. That's true. Everyone has a price. So who knows? And yeah, like you said, it would be very easy for them to like, build it into the headset. So it's like you don't even have to add it on. Like it's there.
Yeah, I wonder if they will. I wonder if there will be a time like 10 years from now that we will be talking about the latest VR game with
Did you pick up the
hot dog eating competition?
Yeah. What's it called? Like, did you pick up the new Kitchen Nightmares expansion with like the taste satchel packet in it? Like,
I'd be very curious. I'd be so interested in smell-o-vision, but I feel like that's going to be a long time because how are you going to get the sense? Anyways,
how are you possibly going to develop that? You would have to buy
because you have to like get little vials of every scent possible, and then he has to mix it into a concoction.
Exactly. You would have to.
It's insane.
It'd be too much. Yeah. Too much. In a change of pace, Jens.
Yes.
Not talking about VR or VR porn anymore. But we're talking about FIFA, Jens. One of my favorite things.
You do like the football.
I do like football, yes. But FIFA, Jens, as we know it and love it, or kind of love it, I guess, is no more. FIFA is no longer FIFA. So announced just yesterday, Jens, EA Sports' FIFA franchise is losing that last little part of its title, as EA have announced that they are moving on from using the FIFA branding. So from 2023 onwards, what was once, FIFA 22, FIFA 23, so on and so forth, will now be known as EA Sports FC, or FC standing for Football Club.
Interesting.
We kind of knew this was coming because there had been some rumors, for about the past half a year to a year, about a little bit of a fallout between EA and FIFA.
Yeah.
And it does get a little bit juicy, so I'm going to continue on.
Okay.
So in a statement from EA, and a little like an announcement video and stuff like that, they did a whole press thing for it. EA stated that everything you love about our games will be part of EA Sports FC. So the same great experiences, modes, leagues, tournaments, clubs, and athletes will all be there. And this was the one thing that I was most scared of because, for those that don't know, FIFA Sports, for I don't know how long now, the past forever basically, has had exclusive rights in almost every league and tournament and club and stuff like that around the world to be able to utilize real world player names and real world team names and competitions and stuff like that. But on the other hand, the other main competitor in this sort of franchise is PES, or Pro Evolution Soccer, which is now eFootball, if I'm not mistaken. And they didn't have those rights. So, for example, like my team is Liverpool. I support Liverpool in the Premier League. In FIFA 22 or whatever, whatever FIFA game you played, it was called Liverpool. But if you put in Pro Evolution Soccer or eSports, eFootball, sorry, it would be called like County Club 19. Like it was some arbitrary name that had no sense or meaning to it, So like unless you knew it was that team, you had no idea. And then same with some of the players. Like obviously they couldn't use real world player names and stuff like that because they were exclusively owned by EA. And so when I heard that this was coming, I was like, ooh, are we now going to get like a non sort of true to life football sports game? But I'm glad to hear that at least they're keeping all that. They must have, and I think I saw early this morning on Instagram, the official Premier League account, not just EA Sports, but like the Premier League account that covers like all the things that go on in that league, announced that they were partnering with EA Sports for EA Sports FC. So I was like, okay, cool. At least we got that half, And I think a couple of other leagues and clubs and stuff like that announced partnerships with the two. I think Nike as well announced like, yes, we're partnering with EA to bring more Nike things to EA Sports FC. Because another thing was, because they were using the FIFA name, they could also only sort of use brands that were
under FIFA,
partnered with FIFA.
Yeah.
And so Nike didn't have as much of a contribution under FIFA that Adidas did. And so a lot of the boots in the game were all Adidas boots. Yes, they had a couple of Nike boots, but the Adidas stuff was like pushed a lot more forefront, and a couple of other things. So that seems like it's going to change too. So going on, while it's claiming that nothing will be lost with the shift from FIFA to EA Sports FC, the publisher is also pitching that this new branding is going to be an opportunity to create something new. Now this sounds too good to be true for me because and I'll believe it when I see it, because as I'm sure most of you have heard or know, FIFA kind of has a reputation, and most sports games have this reputation that they're like just a rebranded thing of the same game every single year. You know, nothing changes too much of them, just the players and a couple of clubs get updated. So I don't know what they could possibly, create new with this branding other than a new branding. Like I said, I'll believe it when I see it, but yeah, who knows? But interestingly, this change won't go into effect until 2023. So this year's game, the game that'll come out sometime later this year, will still be known as FIFA 23.
Yeah.
And then from next year, it'll be EA Sports FC. And that's because FIFA granted them a 1-year extension to the contract just to wrap things up, I guess. Just to,
because they would have been in
blow.
Production as well.
Yes, yeah, they probably would have been in production since last year, I would assume. I'm not sure. But yeah. So like I said, we've heard about this for the past sort of 6 months to a year-ish. So according to reports that came around sometime last October, negotiations between EA and FIFA had gotten a little bit messy.
Drama.
I see what I did there, because Messi is a footballer.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, yeah. So yeah, this is the drama. EA wanted to expand the license into areas like NFTs, while FIFA wanted to retain more control so it could partner with other companies. In the end, it seems EA wasn't interested in paying out. Now get this, gents. FIFA wanted a $1 billion price to continue using the FIFA naming and branding in its game going forward. And EA said, nah, shove ya.
Wow.
They said, peace out. Enjoy. Which you kind of understandably, and EA could have probably easily afforded that.
Yeah.
Without
but
a
it
doubt.
might not have been worth the investment of.
Exactly. And I kind of feel like there was some principle involved. It was kind of you know what? No, screw ya. We'll see what we can do without the FIFA naming, and I'm sure it'll still go fine. I'm sure they're confident enough in their decision. Do you reckon they'll still be good? I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I still think I'm still gonna pick up EA Sports FC when it comes out. If they're claiming that it's gonna be the exact same as what we've known and loved with the other FIFA games and stuff like that, then that's good enough for me.
What if,
so long as they still have the player names, the club names, the stadium, all that sort of stuff is still there, and the game modes, Ultimate Team and Career Mode and all that. As long as they're still all there, I'm fine.
What if FIFA make their own game?
But that's I haven't finished yet.
Oh,
because that's where it gets a little bit juicy.
Sorry.
So interestingly, the FIFA president Gianni Infantino, who is kind of a bit of a scummy person, we don't really like him too much because he's got these whole scandals behind him. But he released a statement shortly after EA's announcement, and this is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. But he goes on to say, "I can assure you that the only authentic, real game that has the FIFA name will be the best one available for gamers and football fans. The FIFA name is the only global original title. FIFA 23, FIFA 24, FIFA 25, and FIFA 26, and so on. The constant is the FIFA name, and it will remain forever and remain the best." So he was kind of coming out no, EA's the guys that we don't like. FIFA should be the best one. And he was coming out swinging. So yeah, kind of like you said, it certainly sounds like in addition to other licensed products, FIFA is still going to be releasing a game with the FIFA title, yearly or bi-yearly or something like that, without EA's help. Whoever that's going to be, we don't know yet, but
yeah, I wonder who it would be.
It still sounds like there's going to be a FIFA game,
Makes sense with 2K, because 2K have a lot of game,
yeah.
Sport
I
games?
did see, I was checking the comments of all the things that I was seeing posted, and a lot of people were saying come on, bring us 2K FIFA 22 to,
Yeah.
And that's a mouthful, so they've got to rename that somehow. But yeah, a lot of people were saying 2K could probably take it on and stuff like that. But it goes on to say, who knows if if FIFA's still going to keep that $1 billion price tag on the naming rights for it, regardless of who takes over it, if it's EA or not, are they going to go to 2K, and is 2K going to be willing to pay that $1 billion price tag if they continue to use it?
Yeah. I reckon it'd be smaller because they're like, stuff EA. We've got this money now. Yeah. Let's go to another. If they are doing it, let's go to another.
I think that's what the $1 billion price like. I think FIFA knew that was like that EA
reach.
wasn't going to bite at that, and they were like, we'll just offer it and see. Like, if they take it, then they're idiots. If they don't, then that's because it sounds like FIFA wanted out of this deal as much as EA wanted out of the deal. As well.
Maybe it was like, so we're going to offer something that's ridiculous, and if you take it, it's a win for us. But if you don't, it's a win.
Exactly. Like FIFA at the end is laughing regardless because they get to do what they wanted to do. And they also could have pocketed $1 billion. Like, so, who knows? But that's certainly what it sounds like, at least.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's very interesting news in the sport and esports realm of, football. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to see. We should get an announcement sometime later this year for like what the last FIFA 23 is going to be. You could probably assume it's going to be very similar to FIFA 22 and FIFA 21 at then. But yeah, that should be coming sometime later this year because I think they usually release FIFAs sometime in October, November. I want to say
I feel like
September,
it's October, towards the end of the year or very start of the year.
Yeah, it's sometime around then. So we'll be getting that probably within the next couple of months, But yeah, and then in some more EA news, Jens, EA is once again making a Lord of the Rings video game, which is very exciting. Except, it's a mobile game. Yeah. So they probably got a lot of people excited by like when they made this announcement, or like we're making a Lord of the Rings game, and then people were reading the article like with a big grin on their face, and then they got to the thing like coming to mobiles and they were like, oh.
Interesting.
So in what was supposed to be probably an exciting announcement for the Lord of the Rings fans who are now probably a little disappointed, EA has announced that they're making a new Lord of the Rings game. It'll be called Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth. And the game's official description reads, the Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth will feature immersive storytelling, turn-based combat, deep collection systems, and a wide roster of characters from across the vast universe of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Players battle through iconic stories from the world of Tolkien and take up the fight against the great evils of Middle-earth. And so now, I don't know if you've seen it on the App Store before, Jens, but EA and Disney do also have a game called Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Which, interestingly enough, this new Lord of the Rings game is being developed by the exact same team that made that Star Wars game, Capital Games. So you can probably safely assume that they are using very much the same structure and are just swapping out Jedis for hobbits. You could probably assume.
How popular is... I wonder how popular...
I think it's pretty popular because
really?
Where I was reading this news from, it seems like a lot of people, were enjoying Galaxy of Heroes because I think...
it came out 2015.
Yeah, I think it's been like touted as one of the better like mobile type games. Like, how there's the traditional mobile game like, Clash of Clans or something like that where you build something and you've got to wait 19 hours for it to finish building unless you use 19 gems to like speed it up or...
Oh my God.
It seems like it's a little bit better than that, but...
Guess how many players at the end of November 2021?
17 million.
100 million.
Yeah, damn. See? So there's a lot of fans out there that are enjoying it, I guess. I guess it's scratching some kind of itch.
Mobile gaming is like a world that I don't ever like enter, and it makes sense that you want games on your mobile. It makes sense. Yeah. It's a portable device.
Exactly.
That you have it on
everywhere. You 24/7.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, me and Emma just on the weekend used it. We went to a warehouse sale for some of the stores here in Sydney. Unfortunately, all my sizes were gone by the time we got there, so that was a bit sad. But in the long lineup to get in, we were playing 8-ball pool against each other. Like just that mini clip game, and like it's perfect for things like that where you're just like waiting, or like you're in a waiting room for a doctor or something, and like you just want something to fill 15 minutes or even less. Like they're not meant to be big fleshed out experiences. They're just like quick little snippets of like, take me away from this, this waiting room for 5 minutes. Like that sort
the
of
thing
stuff.
that I just hate about mobile games are the ads.
Yeah.
They're like, very
and
intrusive.
they're very predatory too, in the sense that it's like, they do purposely slow things down. It's like, just
like,
just
oh,
watch
you
this
ran
ad
out of
to
lives.
speed it up, or Exactly. So they're kind of predatory in that sense, but you know, I guess if they are free,
you gotta
you've got
do
to
what
pay
you
the bill
gotta do
somehow.
Yeah.
So you know, there's kind of only one way to do that, I guess. So, you know, I guess this could be good-ish news for the Lord of the Rings fans as well, because it means that EA is at least using the license, you know, and this is also with the upcoming Hobbit game that's, I think, just around the corner now. I think maybe another year away, I want to say. You know, so it could also just mean that they're throwing a couple of, like, half-assed games, you know, into the market just to be like, you know, we're still using the license, don't take it away from us. Like, you know, we're still producing content with it, so... you know, yada yada. Or it could mean that newer games are on the way, and you know whether or not they're fully fleshed out games or just more phoned in mobile games is, you know, it's still unknown. So it could be either of those two things. But yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about, like, you know, all of these big studios, like EA owns now, like they own the rights to Star Wars as well, and to, you know, Lord of the Rings and a bunch of other things. Like, how do you feel about these massive, like, you know, first of all, big companies are owning these massive IPs and then, like, just releasing a mobile game with them, like when they could release so much more, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I get it on a business level because there's so many mobile users, and clearly mobile games are very popular. So it makes sense in that sense of things. But because, like I said, I don't play games on my phone at all. Yeah. It's like,
yeah. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a game out there that they release on strictly mobile that's going to, like, make me go out and buy a phone or a more powerful phone for that to be like, I just want to play that.
Could you imagine, like, if that's the thing?
I mean, Asus or whatever have made like gaming specific phones that have like their own little cooling
Doesn't
fans
Razer
like
have
built into them.
something?
And I think Razer has, I think, 2 or 3 different phones now that are strictly for, you know, like
gaming,
mobile gaming, you know. But they're also targeted at different markets. I know they're very heavily targeted towards like the Asian market or whatever, because a lot, like, they play a lot of mobile games over there. Specifically a lot of like PUBG Mobile and things like that. So they are meant for a different kind of market, I guess. But nonetheless, they're still out there and you can still go and buy one, you know?
Like I guess if I was in school and like I had lunchtime, I'd play a game on my phone. I'd play a couple of rounds of Fortnite. Like, I get it. Not? Get it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting. I guess we'll see if it has the same sort of reception that the Star Wars Galaxy Heroes game has, you know, like whether or not they're going to get 100 million players or not. I guess time will tell. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. But there was no release date either announced, but I think it'll be coming out sometime later this year or early next year at the latest, you know, especially if our assumption is correct and they are just kind of reskinning it. Probably wouldn't take them too long because the foundation's kind of already there, you know. But yeah. I think that's it for this week though, gents. Was there anything else you wanted to add on?
No, except thank you for being patient with us taking time off and all that jazz.
Yeah. And I hope you guys have also checked out the gameplay video that released last week. It should have gone up. Kind of a fun one. Yeah.
Playing Escape Simulator.
Yes. Actually a very fun game. Very much enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'd recommend that
Simulator at some point. Yeah.
For sure.
It was kind of cheap too. I think it was like $15 or something.
I don't remember
that.
Actually.
Like, I don't. It was so long ago that we recorded that. We were still in the old, like, Emma's old place. It was kind of fun seeing that the background. But yeah, very much do recommend that. Or if you don't want to buy it, just go and watch the video and you can watch us play it. You know, next best thing. But yeah, so as always, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.